Hello, this is a short homework for Intro to CS class, and for this homework we had 7 tasks. So let's begin. The first task was to create a function that checks if inserted number is prime or not, and prime numbers are those numbers who are not divisible to any number starting from 2 to square root of itself. In this task, we have created a function that takes a number as its argument, and first it checks if num is isn't 0 or 1, because 0 or 1 are not prime or composite. Thereby, if it's 0 or 1 are inserted, it will return a message saying that. And next we check if number is positive or not, because since all negative numbers are composite, so if the number is negative, it will return false. And then we run a for loop and check if all numbers starting from 2 to square root of the inserted number are divided by num or not. If any number is divided, it will return false and pop out from the loop, and also from the whole function, and also from the whole function. So if we type for example 8 is not a prime number and it has to return false. So if we run our program, it will return false. If we type 7, which is prime, it has to return true, which is correct. And if we type 0 or 1, it will return false. It will return the message. And if we type negative numbers, it will also return false. So our code works very well. The second task was to create a function that takes two numbers and returns an array that contains all prime numbers between those two numbers. And for that, I used the isPrime function from the first task, which was set in second task, and created a new function, prime array generator, which takes two numbers, and first it defines the biggest number and the smallest number, and it inserts the smallest number in num1 and the biggest number in num2. This is for the case when the num1 is bigger than num2. The function will work as well. And then it creates an empty array, and then it runs a while loop and checks if number 1 is prime or not. If it is prime, it pushes the value of num1 into our array, and then increments the num1 and repeats this action while num1 is smaller than or equal num2. And then it checks if there are some values in array. It returns the array, and if there are not, it returns the message that there are no prime numbers between those two. For example, if we try with numbers of between 0 and 7, it will return all the prime numbers between 0 and 7, 2, 3, 5, and 7. And also, as I said, it will work even if num1 is bigger than num2. And if there are no prime numbers between two numbers, for example 10 and 12, it will return So if there are no prime numbers, it will return that there are no prime numbers. The third task is to create a function that returns the reverse number of given number. For example, 123, it will turn into 321. And in this task, I created a function that takes num as argument, and then it turns num into a string and splits into an array with characters of that number, each, which in our case are digits of the number, and then it reverses the array and joins all the elements of that array into a string, which will give us our number reversed only in string type, and then it makes the string type into a number type and returns it. For example, if we run our code on 1 to 3, it will return 3 to 1, and it will run our code on any number. It will return the right opposite of our number. The next task is to create a function that checks the number is palindrome or by calling functions from question 3 from this task, and I copied and pasted the function from the third task and created a new function which checks if it's palindrome or not by checking if its argument is equal to reverse its argument or not, which is basically the palindrome. If it's equal, it will return true. If it's not equal, it will return false. For example, if we insert this number which is not palindrome, it will return false. And if we remove the 2 in the end and make this number palindrome, it will return true. The next task is to create a function that sums two binary numbers. It should put every digit of both binary numbers into separate arrays, one for each argument, and make the length of those two arrays equal by adding zeros at the left of the shorter one, using unshift method, and those digits with the same index, and we have to have a carry bit variable. But for the next task, I've done by creating not an array but a string from those digits, and for example, I've created a function binary sum which takes two arguments, a and b, and then it defines which number has bigger length, and then it fills all numbers with both numbers by zeros till the nearest byte, and it computes the nearest byte for both numbers by this equation, and then it fills with these while loops, and then it creates a string variable for a sum, and also a carry bit variable which is false for start, and then it runs from I to the biggest variable -1 to 0, and it creates in that for creates a sum of the nums variable, which is basically the starting from the last digit, the sum of those both digits, and it checks if carry bit exists. It sums up by 1 and makes carry bit variable false, and then checks if sum of these numbers is true, which basically means that there will be no carry bit. It will make which will basically mean that there is a carry bit. It will make sum of numbers 0, and carry bit it will make it true, and it will also check if sum of numbers is 3, which is the case when they are summing up two digits which are ones, and also there is a carry digit. In that case, the number of sums, the sum of numbers will be 1, and there will be added another carry bit, and so on. The sum string will become sum of nums plus sum, which means that we will add all those digits from the left, and in the end we will remove unnecessary zeros left from the biggest byte by this while loop, and return the sum. The problem of this solution is that we have to insert numbers in strings, because I checked, I wanted to solve the problem with number type numbers, but it had some bugs when numbers started with zeros, and it turned into hexadecimal, which were not efficient for us. So, but in this case, if we check with strings, it will work fine. Here we go. It takes a carry bit and adds all the numbers, and even if we write like this, it will compute 2, and everything is okay, and our code works fine. The next task is to create function that inverses and returns the given binary number. For example, it will turn 1101 into 0010, and in this case we will have a problem with those zeros in number type 2, so I made a number type insertable in string as well. In this task I created a function inverser which will take our num in string and then split it into array and run in that array and say if check if every of these digits is 0, it will turn into 1, and if it's 1, it will turn into 0. If those digits are anything except 0 and 1, it will turn those into error string, and then it will check. It will get out when it will get out of the loop, it will check if our array of characters includes any error strings. If yes, it will return that it will return a message saying error, insert only ones and zeros, sorry. And if it will not contain error, it will join the array and return the string. And now if we run our function with run our code with this argument number, it will work. It has to work fine. And yes, as we see, this is inversed version of this number, and if write any number, for example 0001, I don't know why, it will return the right inverse of this number. And our seventh task was to create a function that converts a binary number into its 2's complement, negative number, and the function must call the functions from tasks 5 and 6, and in our case, as said in task, we take the function binary sum from task 5 and the inverser from task 6, and we create a function minuser, which will take argument number and return the binary sum of inverser and of inverse version of num and 1, which will work fine perfectly. Like if we insert 1010, it will give us the minus version. This is error because I changed the name of the file task7 because it didn't allow me to write like this. I'm sorry. And if we write the right name, it will give us the binary negative of this number, and it will work very well. Thank you very much. This is all. Thank you for watching my video, and don't forget to like and subscribe and write comments. Thank you very much. Bye.